Good evening and welcome to the UNSW Engineering information session. It's great to have you all joining us this evening. My name is Yusuf and I am a Senior Recruitment Product Manager here at UNSW Future Students. I'm here tonight with my colleagues and a few of our current students, and we'll run you through studying engineering at UNSW. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the Bedegal, Gadigal, Ngunnawal and the Daruk and Eora peoples who are the traditional custodians of the land on which each of our UNSW campuses stand. I would also like to pay my respects to the elders past and present and extend that respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who are joining us today. Before we get into the session this evening, I'd like to give you a quick overview of what to expect tonight. We'll kick off by hearing from Associate Professor Jayashree Ravishankar, who is the Deputy Dean Education at UNSW Engineering. Jayashree will speak about the industry trends in engineering and the opportunities available to you as a UNSW engineering student and beyond. You will then hear from Wilbur and Kelly, two of our current engineering students, about the engineering degrees on offer at UNSW and the admissions pathways available to you. We'll then cross over to my colleague Svat, who is currently in one of our state-of-the-art makerspaces, to hear more about the student life and experiences you can expect as an engineering student at UNSW. And to wrap up the session, we'll answer your questions through a Q&A panel. If you have any questions throughout the evening, please submit them through the Q&A function, and we'll get to them during the Q&A panel. I'll now hand it over to Associate Professor Jayashree Ravishankar to take you through the engineering career landscape.
Hello, I'm Jayashree Ravishankar, Professor and Associate Dean Education in the Faculty of Engineering at UNSW. I have been an academic for many years now, where I get ample opportunities to research on solving real industry problems. I also worked in industry for a couple of years before switching to this academic career. Problems and ideas that will impact society over the next 2 decades rest on the shoulders of our future engineers. From transiting to net zero carbon emission through decarbonisation, tackling the next big cybersecurity threats, merging biology with technology, and creating the most sustainable infrastructure projects, these endeavors demand a combination of technical proficiency, creative problem solving, and expertise. These are precisely the focal points of our engineering programs at UNSW, where we equip students with the skills and knowledge needed to tackle these pressing issues head on. Over the next 10 years in Australia, engineering occupations will see a 21% projected job growth. This is almost double the amount of national occupation growth average. The traditional notion of engineering specializing in a single discipline is shifting as industries increasingly seek professionals with a diverse skill set and the ability to adapt to changing technological landscapes. At UNSW, our students study a wide range of complementary courses through their double degrees, as part of minors, or through the curriculum by studying computing, design, general education, ethics, and leadership to gain a well-rounded skill set. In Australia, while engineers and computer science specialists are in demand in general, the specializations most in demand are mining, civil, electrical, energy, and software engineering. Increasing demand leads to the emergence of new occupations as continuous innovation drives the creation of fresh opportunities. Engineering epitomizes progress, persistently challenging limits and forging into uncharted territories. When you choose to join UNSW Engineering, you become part of number 1 faculty for engineering and IT in Australia. UNSW Engineering is the largest engineering faculty in Australia and offers the widest range of engineering degrees in the country. This includes traditional areas of engineering such as civil and mechanical, but also new and emerging specializations like the renewable energy and quantum engineering. With 8 schools and more than 70 years' experience, our researchers are at the forefront of exciting technological developments, engaging in partnerships both here and overseas. Our consistently high global academic rankings across engineering disciplines reflects the depth and breadth of our teaching and research. Our programs have been carefully designed to match global career opportunities. That's why Australia's top employers prefer our graduates over any other university, and we have had Australia's most employable graduates 4 years in a row now. Finally, we have made a significant investment of over 700 million Australian dollars into our cutting edge facilities, meticulously crafted to ignite multidisciplinary learning, through which you can imagine a world where our students are spoiled for choice with an array of state of art makerspaces and labs, empowering them to transform their visions into reality. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all soon in UNSW. I now pass this on to Yusuf.
Thank you, Jayashri. Now that you know a little bit about the opportunities available to you as an engineer and as an engineering student, let's move on to the degree options available to you and the UNSW pathways. I'll now pass on to Wilbur and Kelly, who are two of our amazing students, to take you through the degrees we have on offer and our pathways.
Thanks, Yusuf. Within the Faculty of Engineering, students can study a variety of programs. We have three main study areas: engineering, computer science, and food science. Within these areas, students can specialise depending on their field of interest. For example, students can study food science and nutrition within our food science degree, artificial intelligence within the Bachelor of Computer Science, and biomedical engineering within our Bachelor of Engineering Honours program. Here are our 5 flagship programs within the Faculty of Engineering. Starting with the Bachelor of Engineering Honours. This is the degree that I study, and within this program you can choose from 20 engineering specialisations. In this degree you'll gain a solid background in mathematics, natural sciences and computing that will prepare you to dive into your chosen engineering discipline. You must undertake a minimum of 60 days of industrial training as a part of your degree. Completing this mandatory workplace training will allow you to seek accreditation from Engineers Australia, which in turn allows you to work as a qualified engineer. We then have our 2 computer science degrees, the Bachelor of Computer Science and the Bachelor of Advanced Computer Science Honours. In these degrees, students study the design, construction and use of computer systems. Within the 3-year degree, students have 8 new and emerging specialisations to choose from, including a general computer science option. In the 4-year embedded honours degree, students study the advanced computing electives as well as a year dedicated to research. It is important for you to note that this option is more aimed towards students who have the desire to eventually undertake a PhD or get into research, and of course undertake those more advanced, challenging subjects. Next, the Bachelor of Food Science Honours will provide you with strong skills and knowledge to enter the food science engineering industry. Students will get the chance to apply themselves to the areas of food processing, safety, nutrition, product design and inquiry projects, professional food practice, food systems management and conduct research towards a thesis project. Finally, we have the Bachelor of Cybersecurity Sydney, which is a brand new degree to UNSW Sydney as of Term 1 2025. In this 3-year degree, which falls under the School of Computer Science and Engineering, you'll learn how to safeguard against cyber threats, gain skills in designing secure systems, networks and data platforms using industry standard technologies. This program will allow students the opportunity to develop a unique blend of technical skills with an emphasis on the human factors that impact cybersecurity. You may have noticed in the previous slide the point on flexible engineering under our Bachelor of Engineering Honours program. Often, students know what they want to study in engineering, but sometimes they struggle to choose their specialisation. With the flexible first year option, students can try out 3 different engineering specialisations through electives in their first year before choosing a major in their second year. In most cases, students are still able to complete their degree within a 4-year timeframe, so don't worry, opting for flexible first year won't necessarily add any time onto your degree. Get more choice, more career opportunities and more knowledge with a double degree at UNSW. Choose for over 12 double degrees, either from similar disciplines to engineering faculty or 2 contrasting but complementary fields. Combine your interest with your passion and graduate with 2 degrees. Combine engineering with commerce or engineering with computer science. Wherever your interests lie, we want to ensure you have the options to pursue the career of your dreams, whether that is solely in the engineering space or venturing beyond. Thanks for listening. I'll now pass you to one of my engineering peers, Kelly, who will talk you through UNSW Engineering admission pathway options.
Thanks, Wilbur. Are you worried that you won't achieve the lowest selection rank for your desired degree? Here are other ways to study our programs. Portfolio entry is a great way to secure an early conditional offer for up to 7 points lower than the lowest selection rank. This involves submitting a video expressing your interest for studying engineering. We want to see your passion for engineering and how you plan on contributing to the progress for all. Applications open soon, so keep an eye out on our website for more details. Another option to increase your eligibility into UNSW is to study our undergraduate certificates. Upon completing these programs, students will receive credit towards their relevant bachelor program. This enables students to graduate within the same time frame as students who entered straight into the bachelor's program. Finally, you can also look to starting a Bachelor of Science and transferring to engineering after the first year, or you can look at our TAFE pathways or starting at another university and transferring over after the first year. You can find more information about this on our website. This is all from me. I'll now pass back to Yusuf.
Thanks, Kelly. Now it's time to learn more about the student life at the Faculty of Engineering. You'll hear from my colleagues Svetlana and a current student, Jade, who are in one of our makerspaces on campus.
Thanks, Yusuf. Hi, everyone. My name is Svetlana, and I'm the Faculty Recruitment Officer for Engineering. With me here today, I have our current student, Jade.
Hi, my name's Jade. I'm a third year studying Mechatronic Engineering and Commerce at UNSW.
Awesome. And where are we?
We are in the Kirby Makerspace. We have a few makerspaces around campus, which are great opportunities for students to come in and use workshops like these and use tools. You don't need to be an engineering student to use these spaces. You just need to complete your safety badge before coming in and use it for all sorts of reasons.
Okay. And as an engineering student, how practical is your course? So how often would a student come in here, for example?
I think it's a really good balance between practicality and classroom teaching. In fact, the very first course you do as a first year is called Design 1000. And within your 10-week term, you actually build a product and get your safety badge for a workshop like this, which is really awesome that you come out of high school going straight into it. But a lot of people will use these spaces for individual projects, student projects, you name it.
Awesome. And as part of your degree, can you do an internship or placement?
Yes, in fact, for the Bachelor of Engineering, it's a requirement to do 60 days of industrial training. Whether that's an internship that I know a lot of companies actually work with UNSW. I know Sydney Water works with the civil students a lot, and CommBank works with the mechatronics students a lot. Or you can actually go out and find your own internship, which is what I did. I actually just came back and did my 60 days the summer that just went up in Queensland with BHB. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to get that hands-on experience and use what you learn in the classroom. I know some students do 30 days of their industrial training as a student project or a VIP.
Okay. And that's a part of Challenge. What is the Challenge program?
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity for engineering students to use what they learned in the classroom in real life aspects. So there's 4 pillars of Challenge. The first one is VIP, or vertically integrated projects. These are 4 course credit projects that you can do. So I know SunSwift, our solar paneled race car, is an example of that. Another example is student projects. So I'm part of UNSW Redback Racing, which is our Formula student team. We build a race car every year, so that's another example. Another pillar is Assistive Tech Hub. This is a great chance to really use those tech skills in real life. So I know a few students built some prosthetics for people with disabilities, which was awesome. And then the last pillar is Humanitarian Engineering, which is a great way to help communities in need by using these skills that you learn. So it's a great way to use what you learn in classroom in a real life aspect.
Okay, that sounds great. Are there any other initiatives that students can get involved in whilst they are at UNSW?
For sure. There's heaps of volunteering, extracurriculars you can do. We have over 300 plus clubs and societies for almost any passion you might have. I'm personally in our Women in Engineering Society, so I'm a director in the Public Relations Department. So we do a lot of support work for people with diverse genders within the engineering field, because we know it's still a male-dominated industry, but there's heaps of support, different mentoring programs, and just fun events to meet people.
Okay, cool. And how can students or future students get involved now?
For sure. So I know we have a Young Women in Engineering, which is a monthly newsletter and some workshops that you can attend. I also recommend coming onto campus for open days or info evenings, especially our open day this year on the 7th of September. You can come into campus, we'll have all sorts of stalls up. You can really get a feel for what UNSW is like in person.
And finally, what's next for you?
So I just finished my 60 days industrial training, but I actually just started a job at a startup called Holbot as a robot operator, which is really exciting. So I'm able to do work that's really related to mechatronics in only my 3rd year.
Wow, that's amazing. And how are you juggling working as well as studying? Are you full-time?
I am full-time student. It is really great that we run on a 3-term plus system because I can, for example, do 3 in the first term, 2 in the second, and do an internship parallel, and then 3 again. So as a still full-time student, but a lot of Google Calendar and just time organization skills come into play.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Svet and Jade. Keeping in line with the topic of student life and opportunities, I would love to now take you through our wonderful UNSW Women in Engineering program. Hi, I'm Beck and I work in faculty recruitment for UNSW Engineering. Engineering is all about solving problems, pushing boundaries, and creating solutions that make a real impact on the world. At UNSW, we believe diversity is key to driving innovation, and that's why we are committed to increasing women participating in engineering and ensuring our students feel supported from the moment they start considering an engineering degree to long after they graduate. The Women in Engineering program is one of the largest and most established initiatives of its kind in Australia. The program offers a wide range of support, from mentoring and networking opportunities to scholarships and industry connections, all designed to help students build confidence, make friends, and succeed in their studies and future careers. Even before you step onto campus, there are ways to get involved with the Women in Engineering program. Our Young Women in Engineering Club is a great way for high school students in years 7 to 12 to explore what engineering is all about. The club provides a chance to explore all our engineering fields, connect with fellow future students, and hear from inspiring role models. Membership is free and includes a monthly e-newsletter with inspiring content, exclusive invitations to workshops and events, opportunities for mentorship from current Women in Engineering students, and active socials. Through the club, you can also access the Young Women in Engineering Pathway program. This is an alternate pathway for high school students from year 11 to 12 applying for an eligible engineering degree to gain entry into UNSW Engineering. This 5-week program, running from February to March every year, brings students together to participate in hands-on engineering challenges set by UNSW's 8 engineering schools. Participants will tackle real-world problems related to ongoing research while developing key skills in design thinking, problem solving, communication, and teamwork. Those who complete the program become eligible for an early conditional offer with an adjusted ATAR entry requirement of up to 10 ATAR points below the lowest selection rank for a specific degree or range of related degrees. Once you start your degree, our Women in Engineering program offers ongoing support to help you succeed, both academically and personally. We know how important it is to have a strong support network, which is why we have initiatives like Friday Flicks, which is a social event where students can take a break, watch a movie, and meet new people. Engineering is challenging, but that doesn't mean you can't have fun along the way. Beyond the formal support, UNSW Engineering has an incredible student-led community. Across all engineering schools, there are Women in Engineering student societies that offer even more opportunities to connect, grow, and get involved. Another huge part of what makes the Women in Engineering program at UNSW so valuable is the strong connections we have with industry. We want to make sure that by the time you graduate, you not only have a degree, but also industry experience, professional networks, and the confidence to step into your career. We believe in supporting and nurturing the next generation of leaders in engineering, which is why we offer a vast range of Women in Engineering scholarships. Whether you're entering as an undergraduate or postgraduate student, these scholarships are designed to help women, non-binary and gender diverse students with outstanding academic achievement and leadership potential. As an undergraduate student, you can apply for a variety of scholarships to support you throughout your engineering degree. We recommend applying for as many scholarships as you're eligible for to really increase your chances of receiving support. At UNSW, we know that engineering isn't just theory and problem solving. It's about people, innovation, and it's about making a real impact. And with the right support, the right connections, and a strong community around you, you'll be ready to take on any challenge. So whether you are still considering engineering or you're already excited to join us, know that UNSW Women in Engineering is here to support, inspire, and celebrate you every step of the way. If you'd like to learn more, please visit our website, sign up for the Young Women in Engineering Club, or simply get in touch with our friendly team. We can't wait to see you on campus. To continue the conversation about the Women in Engineering program, I am joined by our wonderful student ambassador, Claudia, to talk more about the program. Claudia, hi. Do you want to just obviously introduce yourself and tell us what year you're in and what you're studying?
Hi Beck, I'm Claudia and I'm in my second year. I study a double degree in arts and environmental engineering.
Great. I guess going on from that, maybe you can tell the audience why you chose to study that particular engineering degree and maybe even the arts degree as well.
Okay, yeah. When I was little, probably like a lot of engineering students, I wanted to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
So all throughout high school, I was kind of set on doing that and I was going to do aerospace engineering.
Yeah.
And be an astronaut, but then I started physics in year 11 and really didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I kind of had
Important
a little
for
bit...
engineering.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I kind of had a bit of a crisis and I was
Yeah.
like, what am I doing? But I still loved chemistry and maths. So
Yeah.
the STEM, I didn't want to not do STEM completely. So at that point, I started researching it properly and I came to things like the Young Women in Engineering Club workshops in the holidays, got to see the different buildings, and I was looking for some chemistry, as little physics as I could possibly do,
Yeah.
basically. And I was thinking chemical engineering for a while.
Yeah.
I ended up choosing civil because I got to do a work experience program with Sydney Metro,
Yeah,
which
cool.
is really cool. And I got that through Engineers Australia,
Yeah.
who also has high school workshops, and the Sydney Metro construction site was amazing.
Yeah.
I still think it is. So I ended up choosing civil engineering when I
Yeah.
started university last year. And then during my first term at uni, there's this engineering subject that almost every student in engineering has to do, where you work on a group project for the whole term. I ended up in an environmental engineering kind of project that we were working on and loved it so much that I switched after first term.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up in environmental.
Yeah.
It definitely took a while and I still wouldn't say I'm 100% certain how you define engineering or like what it really is. It's too broad to kind of put a spin on it.
If
so
you
I
could
just...
define it in one sentence, sorry to put you on the
Yeah.
spot, how would you tell the audience? Like if they've heard engineering but they're not
Yeah.
really sure what it is, how would you describe it in a sentence?
Okay, I would say it's the application of STEM, so science and maths concepts, to solve real world problems.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
solve is the key word
Yeah.
there. We're finding solutions for problems.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
sure. Going on from that, you did kind of mention it, but how did the Women in Engineering program influence your decision to come to UNSW? I know you said were you in the program, did you do the Young Women in Engineering Club? Or,
Yes.
Yeah, how did that influence your...
So I think I just joined up to the Young Women in Engineering Club newsletter at some point during high school, maybe in about year 10. And I was getting emails from them every month. They sent some of the events that proper university students got to go on. There was always little testimonials from students studying engineering and that kind of thing. So I felt like I was already in contact with UNSW
Yeah.
and getting to see the cool things that they had to offer. I did, of course, go to all the open days for different universities. And I always felt like UNSW made much more of an effort to like ask students to come to them and make it a space where students wanted to go.
Yeah.
Because sometimes applying to university, it feels like you're trying to get in and like they're rejecting more people than they're taking at many
Yeah.
universities.
Yeah.
UNSW felt a lot more welcoming. There was people who I felt knew my name already, even just small things like that.
Yeah, it's a small
because I'd come to a school holiday workshop. There was one person who I knew. So it felt like I was already a little bit more familiar, or like it was a place where I could find people
You're
to...
like establishing a connection to the
Yeah.
uni before you've even come in.
Exactly.
Yeah, which I think is important.
And I couldn't find that really at other unis.
Great. In terms of this, I know you received the WE Scholarship,
Yeah.
Women Engineering Scholarship. Maybe if you could just share your experience applying and receiving the scholarship, and do you have any tips that you would give students that are thinking of applying?
Okay.
It's a loaded question.
Yeah. So how it works from my understanding is when you apply for the Women in Engineering scholarships, you apply in general to that kind of category, and then on the UNSW website there's sort of a list of the different ones that you can receive. But when you're applying, you just apply in general through the UNSW scholarships portal. So I was applying for a few different ones, just like general engineering and then women in engineering. For the Women in Engineering Scholarship, you start your application quite early in year 12. I think towards the beginning of the year, so maybe like January of the year you're going to graduate. There's a lot of questions about yourself and why you want to do engineering, and also how you can contribute to the Women in Engineering community.
Yeah.
I spent probably a good 2 months, maybe a little bit longer, kind of working on the responses.
Wow.
Because a lot of the questions are things that I'd never thought about before.
Sure.
So my tip would be prepared to do a lot of like self-reflection and thinking about why it is you actually want to do engineering, even if you have no idea. So at that point I thought I was maybe going to go into civil engineering, who knows what I was going to do,
Or
even
an
if you don't know.
astronaut.
Yeah, exactly. And I was still wanting to do arts as well, which
Yeah.
is like the humanities. So it doesn't matter if you don't have some like perfect life goal. It's just like why it is you're applying for the scholarship. Talk really personally. Like I talked about random hobbies that I do on the weekend, and a holiday I went on where I looked at a really cool archaeological site, and I was like, I wonder what engineers feel with that. So it doesn't have to be really like perfect and shiny, just really honest, I would say.
Yeah,
So
they
I
wanna
tried
see
to
who
just
you are.
yeah, exactly. Honesty, I think, is the best way.
Amazing. Cool. So next question I have for you, what's the most unexpected or surprising thing you've learned since starting your degree?
Can I clarify, do you mean in like a general life sense or actual engineering
I mean,
concepts?
we can both, but we can maybe start with engineering. Maybe
Okay.
something you learned about your degree that you were surprised about or you didn't know before.
Okay.
Yeah, good or bad?
Yeah.
Preferably good.
I had never considered in environmental and civil engineering, which are kind of pretty similar degrees, there's a whole area called water engineering. And it sounds obvious when I say it now, but I kind of had no idea that there was such a sort of broad scope of things to do with that. So almost half my degree is subjects to do with water or the atmosphere, a lot of chemistry and ecology and wastewater, and there's just so many like systems that I hadn't really considered where water is fundamental to it.
Yeah.
And that's what's probably piqued my interest the most as I've gone through first year. Yeah, I would say that kind of blew my mind a
All
bit.
the different little aspects and things, a more of a social question. If you and your friends aren't in class, where are you most likely to be hanging out on campus? And also, I'll add to that, are you a part of any clubs or societies? Yeah.
Okay. Where my friends hang out on campus, we love to just sit on the grass during lunchtime. So there's multiple like big lawn areas at UNSW. Alumni lawn is usually our go-to, which is down lower campus because it's near Guzman and Gomez. So we often go to that area, sit on the grass there, and try like have some time when we don't study. My friends are also pretty competitive, so the Roundhouse is where we often are playing pool.
Pool, yeah, I've heard that's a popular one.
It's only $2 a game, and Mondays I think it's free.
Amazing.
So yeah, playing pool or sitting on the grass.
Cool.
In terms of clubs and societies, at the start of last year I joined the Civil and Environmental Engineering Society, which is CEVSOC, and that's the one obviously for my degree.
Yeah.
I also started getting involved in a society called Engineers Without Borders.
Yeah.
And that's part of a like global charity organisation. We go to schools and teach STEM workshops. And it's really cool because in the holidays I got to go to regional New South Wales for a week.
Yeah.
And we visited some like super, super remote schools and got to teach. That was just a volunteering one that it was really nice.
Yeah.
Like side project, I guess.
Yeah. Are you a part of any of the, we have our challenge program.
Yeah.
Are you a part of any of those pillars?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So the engineering subject that I mentioned that you do at the beginning of your first year, where I did the environmental project, when we did it, my group went quite well in it and like tried super hard and got really engaged. So then later on with a couple other groups and the professor who was sort of supervising us, we turned it into a challenge project.
Yeah, cool.
So it's called Pacific Water Security. and we're looking at improving the water and sanitation systems in the Solomon Islands, or the Pacific Islands more broadly, but for the moment, Solomon Islands. So the challenge project is just a group of students. We have the professor, but he stays out of it as much as possible. It's very much led by us. We have to learn all about the university administration and how research kind of works, because obviously we've never done it in a university context before.
Which is cool. You get to learn about that in your undergraduate
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
Yeah,
It gives us a good taste, especially because at the end of your engineering degree you do a thesis. So that's where you do a 6-month-ish research project by yourself. So this is kind of a taster of what we might be able to do.
Yeah.
And we can even possibly, fingers crossed, go to the Solomon Islands. So that would be cool.
Cool. Okay, well, I think we'll end it here. But one last question. You've talked about the scholarships and sort of pre-university and how the questions you were asked and how you prepared for those. But how has the program supported you throughout your degree as a current student?
I would say just kind of having that like an enforced sort of network of people to turn to if I need them. So I remember at O Week, which is at the start of the term when you begin university, there was a Women in Engineering morning tea. And I met people there, and some of them were familiar from the club's workshops I'd been to in high school.
Yeah.
Another one that was really good, and they still run it, of course, is the coffee check-in and chats.
Yeah.
So Women in Engineering program, I think it's every month, maybe a little bit more frequent than that, at one of the coffee shops on campus, super informal. And I remember I didn't go on my first term, but in my second term, it was right in the middle of term and lots of exams, and none of my friends were on campus. So I went there and I had a really, really good time. The reason why it was so good was because there's older students. So this year now I get to work at the event and help the first years, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
but
full circle.
the older female engineering students are really, really helpful. They're inspiring because they've all done really cool things, and they just have so much kind of, they can help validate your experiences and just talk you through uni in general. But coming from a female, when there isn't that many in engineering, it makes it even better.
Yeah, having a good support network of women around you to inspire you.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for chatting with me, Claudia. We'll now go back to Yusuf.
Welcome back to the studio. We'll now open to questions from the chat. Joining me, we have Jayashri, Wilbur, and Kelly. Alrighty. First off, Kelly and Wilbur, can you tell me what you're studying and why did you choose to study your degree?
Yeah, so I'm a third year student doing aerospace engineering and computer science. And why I decided to kind of study here is because I was always really interested in the aviation field. My parents were in the tourism industry, so I've always been tapped into that. And yeah, I think UNSW was one of the main contenders for my choices because it was the top engineering faculty at the time. And yeah, I think I made a good choice. I came to a few of the year 12 experience days as well. So I got my hands-on experience through that as well.
Amazing. Wilbur?
So I do aerospace engineering and commerce. So I came over to UNSW to do aerospace because I used to want to be a pilot when I was a kid. So kind of a bit of a straightaway transition there. And I wanted to do the commerce to keep it broad and so I can open up as many opportunities as I can.
Yeah. Just a follow-up question on that, and happy for either of you to answer it. Were you both sold on aerospace engineering, or did you consider flexible first year? Kel? Wilbur?
I think I was pretty sold on aerospace from the kind of get-go.
Yeah.
Just because I kind of chose UNSW because it's one of the leading ones in aerospace. Because I saw the labs in Year 12, so I was pretty sold from the beginning. What about you, Wilbur?
I was also sold on aerospace, but I definitely did consider flexible first year because coming back to that ability to go kind of any direction with the commerce, pairing that with the flexible first year probably would have been a good idea because I could have done whatever I wanted afterwards. But yeah, I was sold.
Awesome. Jayashri, a question for you. What can students expect to learn in the first year of their engineering degree?
The first year of an engineering degree typically covers the foundational courses that provide the knowledge and skills for understanding the principles of engineering. Examples could be mathematics, physics, introduction to engineering design. Students also undertake courses from specific disciplines if they are fixed on a degree like these two. So, for example, courses like fundamentals of electrical circuits for those that have opted for electrical engineering, and in other disciplines, something like principles of sustainable energy or computer programming. So they do that as well. In all the first year courses, we do have a combination of lectures, tutorials, laboratory sessions, as you would have seen, and even group projects. So which helps students to really get the grasp of those fundamentals necessary to thrive through the engineering degree.
Amazing. And following on to that, back to you, Kelly and Wilbur. How did you find that transition from high school to university? We'll kick it off with you, Wilbur.
I found it was hyped up a lot in school. I think they put a lot of pressure on saying that's going to be a really crazy jump. But luckily in first year, I found that the lecturers and all of the tutors and stuff kind of helped me along from the start, building on what I already knew from school, but also helping me to get a bit more of an understanding straight away. So it's not like they put everything challenging on you straight away. They kind of ease you into it and then push you to do your best.
Yeah, awesome. Kelly?
I also agree with Wilbur. I think the transition towards uni was very hyped up. I come from a selective school, so the competitive atmosphere is really, really big.
Yeah.
So coming to uni was a lot easier for me because everyone's on the same page, everyone's working together, and it's a lot more collaborative in that atmosphere that, like, in shoots, kids are often wanting to collaborate with you and wanting to solve problems with you. So I thought that was really good in that transition period.
Awesome. We'll stay with you, Kelly. What does a typical week look like for an engineering student at UNSW?
Yeah, so it depends on how many courses you decide to take every term. But for example, my term this year was 3 courses, and on Monday you kind of go through your lectures and then attend them either in person or online, because we still do them hybrid, and then you attend your labs. So I have a thermodynamics lab, which allows me to get hands-on with my experience at UNSW, and then we also have workshops, which are problem-solving skills that we can do every week. And I think, Wilbur?
Anything to add?
No, it's about the same. There's a lot of problem solving workshops which really help get the understanding going.
How does it look like, how does the week look considering you're doing a double degree? So how is the split between engineering and your other favourite degree?
So it's the same as if I were doing a single degree, because across the course of your degree, it's going to be a little bit longer if you're doing a double degree. Not double the length necessarily, but a kind of condensed version of those two. Doesn't mean you take more courses during the term. So you're still doing the standard 3 or 2 courses each term, which means that the workload is about the same and the commitment is about the same.
Awesome. Jayashri, over to you. Now we're focusing a little bit on the student experience and student life. What are some of the benefits of doing a challenge course or a challenge project as a part of a student's degree?
I'm so happy to talk about this all the time. So challenge courses provide a unique opportunity for students to access the real world applications, interdisciplinary collaboration, as well as, hands-on experience. In terms of the practical experience, students get an opportunity to work with the industry professionals. Most industry partners often provide the guidance and also support and the feedback for students in completing the project. And this actually expands their valuable networks and the industry connections, which is very, very important for their future employment. And the interdisciplinary collaboration allows them to work with students from other engineering disciplines, as well as students from other faculties like business and law as well. So this actually mirrors the real world work where they, employees work in a diverse team on challenging complex problems as well. So this is a fantastic experience again. And some challenge courses actually offer international collaborations as well, where students have a global impact. So this is really fantastic in terms of building both their professional development as well as a personal development. In terms of professional developments, students acquire all the skills that are demanded by the employers when they apply for jobs, like teamwork, communication, project management, problem solving, all these skills come through. And personally, they have a lot of they've developed a lot of self-confidence in solving a innovative work problem and providing the solution, and that is all that they need. And therefore, challenge programs on challenge courses are really an enriching experience for the students.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm sure Kelly and Wilbur must have done something.
Yeah, I know Kelly's done one. Kelly, can you share your experiences with the challenge program and what some of the highlights were?
So I did more of like a student-led project. So I was a part of Redback Racing in my first year. It's like a Formula One car that we kind of develop in uni. And what's really fun is at the end of it, we get to race other unis as well. So I think during my experience, it allowed me to be hands-on with the car. It allowed me to kind of do things that I wouldn't necessarily do within my degree. So in aerospace, we're always in the labs. We don't really get hands-on with like mechanical and any infrastructure with electronics either. So it was a really good way for me to like jump right in and get into everything like that.
Amazing. Alrighty. Last question. Jayashri, this is about our alternate entry pathway FIAS or portfolio entry. For those students looking to apply via portfolio entry, what are we looking for in the submissions?
So the portfolio entry is for those students who may not meet the required academic qualifications to enter engineering directly, but those students would have probably the potential and the interest and the motivation to join engineering. So what we do is we ask students to submit three things during the application process. The first one is a personal statement where they express their motivation and their passion for engineering. And the second one is we do ask for an academic statement as well. Although this pathway offers a flexibility in terms of admission, we still would like to see what subjects they have done which applies to engineering, and probably they need to submit their latest year 12 report. And the third we ask is a video, which is very important, where they can actually showcase their experiences in engineering related activities, projects, or any competitions they have done. And the video we expect to be well organized, communicated very clearly, and then showing their enthusiasm and passion for engineering. So on the whole, we use all these three documents to actually holistically look into their capability to complete an engineering program if they are admitted. So that's what we look at it, and it's really good for those students.
Amazing, thank you. We've just got a related question that's come through the chat. How important is it for a student to study maths in high school, and is it a requirement for entry into our degrees?
Definitely, math is very, very important because, as I said earlier, this is a foundational course which actually helps in problem solving, which is very, very important for engineering. So students are required to do math at school. In fact, it's good if they can do the advanced maths. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard for them. And we offer bridging courses as well for them to take up math before they join engineering. So math is really important.
Awesome. And I'm just adding to that, the math, whilst it's very important to do it in high school, we don't have any prerequisites at UNSW. It is assumed knowledge. So we will assume that you've learnt high school level math and we'll teach above that. So if you haven't done math, or if you're not considering doing math but would like to do engineering, we would definitely recommend doing something like a bridging course later down in the track. Awesome. That's all the questions we have for this evening. If you're still considering studying engineering at UNSW and would like some more specific information about any of our programs, please note that you can contact our future student advisors by either email, phone, or live chat. Thank you and have a good evening.